Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Richard McCarthy, President of the World Farmers Markets Coalition. Welcome to our prep meeting, our technical support meeting, our webinar to assist you in launching the next phase of the Farmers Markets Count campaign. For this campaign on the week of the 6th of July, 6th of July being World Rural Development Day, which is one of the newest of the United Nations sanctioned days of recognition. I think it was sanctioned in 2019, but we're very excited to tie in with it because our belief is that farmers markets count when it comes to rural development, even though they are thought of as urban institutions that belong and live in the city. As we all know, since we run markets, our impact spans far beyond just the city, but to the surrounding peri-urban and rural areas. You'll be with us here for 1 hour. We will run through the logistics for running this campaign. If you are joining us with your mother tongue being either Spanish or Italian, please note that in the bottom you can choose your interpretation. I certainly suggest that you do that so that you are able to follow us in greater comfort. I am joined here by our colleagues, not only our marvelous interpreters, but Manuel Camarucci and Giulia Maggi from the International Secretariat in Rome. What we will do today, and I think maybe Giulia, if you want to share the screen, we are recording this meeting, so if there's anything that we went over too quickly, you can come back and review it. I'm sure it'll be very entertaining. If any of your colleagues have not heard it, by all means, share this with them. Here we are, Farmers Market Count webinar. So this is for phase B of the campaign, and I'll quickly walk you through what we'll be covering today. So I guess next slide. Here we go. So for phase B of the campaign, you may remember phase A, we counted biodiversity. It was a test. The most complicated thing for us to measure is biodiversity. So we made the first phase of the campaign the most complex, which is why we spent so much time on these pre-webinars. Thank you for joining that and for joining in on the most complex. This one I hope you will find is much less complex. We're more modest in terms of the content that we are capturing. But I also think the communication will be very clear and simple. So we'll give you an overview on the methodology, and then also how to prepare and manage for the day, and then also how to communicate. So today we will be walking you through what steps do you need to do in advance, which fortunately are not a great deal, and then what sort of information you might want to share with your vendors, with your community before, as well as during and after the campaign. We can go to the next slide. So campaign B. So you may remember campaign A, International Day for Biological Diversity. Here's where we're going to be measuring our farmers. And one of the clearer, consistent impacts of markets is that we find that these are places where women excel, and also younger farmers get a foothold in the economy by connecting directly to consumers. So this is some of the information we're going to be trying to glean from this phase of the campaign. So that will be not necessary to interview shoppers. This is going to involve very quick interviews, surveys of your farmers, and then one simple interview where you also upload photographs of your farmers. So this is very much the farmer-centric stage of the campaign. Julia, I guess we can go to the next slide. So our objectives here are to really look at how inclusive our markets are. And by inclusive, how do many marginalized farmers, limited resource farmers, especially whether it's women-led agriculture or women inside the agricultural enterprise, the young people who certainly, and many of you may be able to attest to this, many young people who grow up in the markets, develop their skills in the markets, and then much as our biological diversity, food biodiversity phase of the campaign indicated, many traditional products that are highlighted in markets, as well as indigenous communities who are often the keepers of these products. So those three are you'll see in the questions we're asking, those are really important. Um, and by providing farmers with this direct access to urban consumers, we are looking for some of the proxies that tell us the health of your region, the health of your food system. Our target audience is certainly the farmers themselves. We hope that this will reach farmers who have been paying attention to the market but don't know if there's a place for it in them, and that'll be some of the communications we'll be able to share. I can also quickly mention, I see on my streaming chat, people are chiming in and welcoming and saying hello. By all means, do that. I think that's a great way for you to connect. It's very exciting to see so many of you here. Um, but I think this is also an opportunity for our partners, our existing partners, as well as those who have not yet fully understood what our potential is. And I think so this will be, in terms of the target audience of when we have the data, is to share this with some of the more, dare I say, mainstream economic development players, where we're able to communicate to them what kind of impact we have. Okay, next slide. And our goal is we are hoping to capture as many as 2,500 farmers. You may remember from our studio, we shared some of the impact on capturing the biological food diversity. We were very pleased for the first time out how well we did there. I think we can hit these numbers with farmers. We are looking to see how the market provides an important link between urban and rural. We'll be making the case that this is a worthwhile institution that does this as an incubator, as a point of entry to the city. We're really interested to find out how long do farmers need to travel to be part of the market. I think this helps to make the case that we are a regional player, a territorial player, that we may need political help beyond just the municipality, but the surrounding area. We'll be able to identify if many of the farmers, for instance, are coming from a very long distance, then why are farmers from a nearby distance not attending, and who might those partners be to help access them? So you'll see this in some of the questions that we're asking. Next slide. So we get to the methodology. So we may even show you what it looks like online, but we've got some screenshots that we hope will be helpful. So what we are doing on the week of the 6th, so I think this is from the 3rd to the 10th of July. So you'll want to get online before the 3rd in order to download the documents. We will be counting the farmers in our market. And when there are 4 documents that will be in English, Italian, and Spanish. The instructions, so that's a PDF you can download. The polling sheet, which is a PDF you can download. The interview sheet, which is also a PDF you can download. And then the response log. This is the Google form that you'd sign into and then upload. Well, no, let me not use the word upload. You will then transcribe the data that you collect on your polling sheet and your interview sheet. Unlike last time where we actually uploaded where we uploaded an Excel spreadsheet, you won't be doing that here. So it'll be a little simpler, one fewer steps. And the data that you'll be keying in will be a lot of drop-down number data. So I don't think you'll find this so onerous in terms of time. So those are the four important documents or links that we will be giving to you. The next slide. So the instructions PDF. So this is maybe 3 pages of an A4. And I think the instructions are hopefully very clear. Inside the instructions, there are some links. We try and put the links as often as we can because it can often be confusing, where am I? So the instructions walk you through the steps of what you will want to do. If you yourself are conducting the survey, you don't need to train a team. But if you've got volunteers or staff who are conducting it, you want them to have the instructions in advance as well. But I'll walk you through, so you'll have this document, but I'll walk you through the instructions now. So next slide. So there is a response log, which is the Google form, the intake. And maybe we won't start here, though, Manuel. I did talk about us visiting the response log, but I think we could maybe do that at the end of the methodology section. But in any case, you will get the link to the form. There'll be a place for you to input your name and your email, and you'll go through, I think there are 4 sections. First section being the introduction, and then the sections of where you upload your information, and I'll show you what that information is next. So we'll go to the next slide. So section 1, and actually this one's good. Section 1 is the introduction and the links and where you put in your name. Section 2 is where you'll input general market information. So if you wanted to, you could go here before opening day and you could input this, but you wouldn't be able to finish it. So, but it's just maybe worth looking at some very basic information of how many vendors on that day, how often the market operates, and so forth. Section 3 is where you'll input the results from your polling of farmers. So the activity in the market comes in 2 categories. One is that you're polling each of your farmers. And it's important to remember this, that you may have vendors in your market who are not farmers, bakers, any kind of processor or craft maker, or even crafts. We're not interested in capturing all of your vendors' information. So let's say if you have 10 vendors in your market and 7 of them are farmers, you'll only be polling your 7 farmers. That's not to say we don't care about the other vendors in the market, but in this study, we're specifically interested in the farmers because this is the agricultural link we're trying to make. Let me also mention here that by farmer, and you'll see the language throughout the session describing this. By farmer, we mean those who work either raising raw products from seed or from plant and bringing in fresh fruits and vegetables. Now, the farmer may also do their own processing of fresh products, say strawberries, and making strawberry jam. They're still a farmer. So we're interested in whether they work the land. But under the category of farmer, we also are interested in foragers. So if they're harvesting wild mushrooms and coming from the surrounding rural areas, you could also include them. And then fishermen. So if it's a fishing family, we for the purpose of this survey, we're interested in those who, instead of working the land, they work the water. So not that they're farm-raised fishermen. These presumably are wild harvest. So the questions about the land tenure or land ownership in the interview, you replace that with the boat. So the results from your polling of farmers, fishers, and foragers. So just to be clear there in section 3. So if you have 10 vendors, 7 of which are farmers, you'll then be asking these farmers these very quick set of questions, not interviewing the others. I don't think they'll feel neglected. They'll be delighted the others do not have to answer these questions. And then once you've conducted that, we want you to choose one of those who you surveyed to do a more in-depth interview. But by in-depth, again, it's just a few questions. Many of them are ones you've already asked them before, but we want to get a clear story about them from that data. And then we know that images are great. Images, are help to tell a story. So that if you can upload, we have instructions for 2 to 3 photographs of the farmer, the entire team, as well as maybe their products. Okay, next slide. So the polling sheet. So in the farmers market, as I said before, identify your farmers and fishers separate from the bakers and others. Um, on an attached clipboard, you want to visit each farming, fishing vendor to speak with the leader or spokesperson of that stall. So you don't have to speak to the elder. You'll know who's in charge because you work with them on a weekly basis. So you go to them and you say, I've got 2 to 3 minutes of questions I want to ask you. Can I do that now? Or can I do that in 10 minutes? So you'll want to go through and do that. And here, I'll show you what some of the questions are here. So here's the A4 sheet. So one sheet, you can print out extra in case you run out of space. Each of these boxes are related to a question. The actual question is on the instruction sheet. So you'll want to bring the instruction sheets with you as well. But in each box, you'll make a hatch mark. So each one that you visit, you'll ask them the distance, find out where they fit into it. And then in the bottom of each of the boxes, you then tally up the number. And it's that in the little boxes, that's the number that you'll be transcribing into the Google form. But we'll go through each of these questions directly on the next slide. We'll look at the first row. So you'll be asking them, we want to know the distance. And we know the distance is difficult to measure except in time. That's the most universal way. We want to know is how long does it take you to make it to the market? For you to travel from home to market, less than 30 minutes, 31 to 90 minutes, 91 minutes to 3 hours. And then if we go down to the next slide, I think more than 3 hours. This will be a very helpful indicator to tell us how healthy is your city and therefore also your market's relationship with the surrounding region. How big is your city? We'll learn this by how long it takes to travel to the market. For instance, I know of Jean-Nic in Quebec. Most of the markets, including the ones in Montreal and Canada, in Quebec, it takes them less than 30 minutes to travel to the market. Well, when you think of what that means for the farmer, 30 minutes, that's quite convenient. If you have to travel 3 hours, say like in Dhaka in Bangladesh, where it's so hard to get through the city area, this gives you an idea about the investment of time, the stress that it is on the farmers. This is very helpful for our urban-rural linkages. In terms of gender, we know that this is difficult to measure because there's more than one person in each stall very often. So we're not going to try and capture, if one farming stall has 5 people working in it, we're not counting all of them. What we want to capture here is who did you interview? Now that may be random, it may be very intentional that you want to speak with the head of the household or the person who organizes the team that comes to market, or that vendor may just be one person and therefore it's an easy choice. But here, what you're wanting to write down in that box is, did I speak with a man, a woman, or someone who either does not identify as man or woman, or you weren't able to get that information? Then you have that on the next line that you can just put that as well. And then the number of women respondents who own the land, or if they're fishermen, the boat in which they fish. So asking the question, do you own the land in which you farm? And that's the question of women who own the land they farm. And you'll see that from the question. Okay, the next row of questions, gender. The number of respondents who didn't identify either as men or women, as I mentioned, and then the age. Here, the question is, um, are you 30 years of age or younger? And actually under 30 years of age. So again, there may be people in that that stall who are under 30 years of age. They may be bringing their entire family with them, but the person who you interview is the one whose age you're trying to capture. And then asking them whether they identify as a member of an indigenous community. So it's a very simple yes or no. So all of these are a lot of yes, no questions, which is meant to be quick and easy to run through interviewing. So you interview all of your farmer, fisher vendors. And then once you've done that with another PDF sheet, you will pull up a set of survey questions where you select one to interview. In terms of who you select, um, you want to find one who, in your estimation, is typical or a good example of your team of vendors. So you select one. This should take no more than 7 minutes. We said the other one took 2 to 3 minutes. It'll take about the same amount of time, but we're also hoping that you photograph them. Um, Now, in terms of photographing on the day, we're happy for you to photograph as much as you want to post them online, of course. I think Julia will talk about that. But for the sake of the survey, we want a photograph of the farmer, the fisher, the products, or the entire stall. And then if they bring an entire team with them, that would also be great because it also captures, is this a solo effort or a community effort, a family effort? So let's look at these particular questions. Again, it's another sheet, color coded. You don't have to print it out in color, but we do that so that you can see it on the screen for the categories of information we're looking at. You may notice that on the right, you can write the location and the date. We think that's helpful. Um, but so here we ask, um, and again, these are like very simple questions, so they should move quickly. Are you the owner? This is the person you've interviewed, family member, employee, or other. Other, not sure what that might be, but may not fit those categories. Uh, then we ask for the distance. How long did you travel from from home to today's farmer's market? And then just select which answer they give you. How long do you stay in town when traveling to the market? This is, again, another interesting insight. They may be an urban farmer. They may come and go, and that's it. They may be that it's a distance that's so long that they stay for more than one night, stay the night or more than one night, because maybe they do another market the next day in town. And then the next row of questions. Do young people under 30 years of age work in your agricultural enterprise? This is where we begin to capture the whole picture, not just the person you're interviewing. We ask them, are they under 30 years of age? And then do women work for your agricultural enterprise? So again, trying to capture what role do women play in these operations? Do you identify as? Again, this is the other question that had several different, it came out in several different questions. In the interview, it happens in just one. We get the information because we're asking them directly. Is your agricultural enterprise indigenous or employs indigenous people? And then this is one that also we're very excited to ask because it gives some insight to the legal status of the agricultural enterprise. We know that many markets operate in a hostile regulatory environment. One reason for the market is that it helps to facilitate what is often a very confusing, if not intimidating, regulatory environment, whether it's registering with the city or, as we know, in many countries, farmers have to register with the Ministry of Agriculture to be deemed an official farmer. We're really curious to find out if they perceive that they are registered with any kind of public authority. So again, very simple question, yes, no, don't know. And I believe that is the end of the questions. I don't know, how are we for time? Julia, do you think it would be okay if Manuel and I walked through what the form looks like online? Of course,
Sure.
you're on mute. Yeah.
Sure. I'm
Okay.
gonna
Okay.
stop the sharing so I can leave the floor to you.
Okay. Thanks. I also see some questions from Sandra. Um, Is there farmers markets taking place at that specific and only this is a great question, Sandra. We know that you know your market. You know how many vendors you work with, how many farmers you work with throughout the year. Um, but rather than putting that pressure on you to have to ask yourself, all right, today we have 7 farmers, but sometimes we have 12. Should I count all of them? No. Only thing you need to count is the number of farmers you have on that day. We know it's a snapshot, but it's a very defendable snapshot because it's what you're capturing for that day. Um, but that's a great and important question. Um, a lot of young farmers lease land rather than owning it. Is there a way of capturing this? Well, the leasing, I think maybe the terminology we used was rent, not, maybe we'll update that to lease so that it's consistent. But yes, we capture that by asking, um, is the is the farm through the interview, is the farm being rented, leased, owned, or other? We are not finding that out for the general survey. I think that's just in the interview. But if we get enough interviews, that's useful data. Um, so thank you for that question, Sarah. Manuel, I see you've uploaded it onto the screen. Can you magnify that any, or is that too difficult to do? Even just a little bit. Yeah, that's good. That's pretty good. I don't know, it may look tiny for you, but we'll run through it very quickly. So this is when you log online, and it's a Google form. I hope that works for everyone. Google's not perfect, but it's a fairly simple form for accessing. It's what we used last time. People seem to be okay with it. Here's the general, instructions and the overview. Um, that's what the section 1 is. If you can scroll down a little bit or scroll up, I guess it is. A place for you to put your name and your email. And then you go next. And then you get to the market observation. So the market observation is not information that you'll find so much on that day. It's just general information about your market. Is your farmer's market open year round? Yes, no. How often does your farmer's market operate? So this is regardless of whether it's, year round or not year round. Are you a weekly, a monthly, bi-weekly, so forth? How many vendors are present at today's market? So again, a lot of this is a drop-down menu. So, I think it does probably make sense to fill this out after you've done the study and you're like, we had 13 vendors today, but of course, you're only interviewing, say, 10 of them because 10 of them are farmers. But it's helpful for us to know the size of the market because this gives us some insight as to what percentage of your vendors are farmers. And then this question on what kind of currencies, and you can choose more than one, do your farmers accept? This is again different levels of technological ability. It's often reflective of the region, not just the technological ability of the farmers. Do vendors pay rent to sell at the farmers market? Yes, no. Other. There may be another complicated system like they join an association and so forth. Then we get to the actual study itself. So this is where you've conducted the survey in the market, and you tabulate it, and then you'll add the final box for each of the questions here. I think these are all drop-down menus. There might be some yes, nos. Um, and Manuel's doing a magnificent job of emulating what it'll look like when you do this yourself. And it should be quite quick. The distance that they travel by time, How many farmer fisher respondents, and by respondent, we mean the person you speak with, man or woman, man, don't know, won't say, so forth, or other. So we get through those. Bear with us as we replicate what you'll be doing. So you should look fairly easy, indigenous. Then we go to next. This is the next section. This is where you actually conduct the interview. So you'll transcribe the information that you got from the interview. Are they an owner, family member? I think you can only choose one, so they may find that question confusing, like, well, I'm a family member, therefore I'm kind of the owner. We trust your insight as to how they respond. Is it a first generation farm or enterprise? I think that question was on the sheet. If not, we'll make sure that it is. Is the farmland owned or leased? This gets to the question that was asked from Australia. Unclear, no title is one option, not just do not know. How long do you travel to get here today? Again, maybe, yeah, 31 to 90 minutes. It'll be very interesting to find out what the average is. How long do you stay in town? Do young people work in your agricultural enterprise? 30 years of age or younger. Fortunately, we have a few days to make sure that everything's consistent. I think some places we may have said under 30, not 30, so we'll make it consistent by the time you're using this. Are you under 30 years of age? So here's where we get information about the person we're interviewing, in addition to other people in the enterprise. Do women work in the agricultural enterprise? Yes, no. Which gender are you? Is the enterprise registered with an authority? Yes, no. And then here, upload the filled up interview sheets, which you can. Yes, I guess it's actually quite good for us to have those PDFs. And then also upload the images you took during the counting. So we hope that you find this a simpler process than having to have an Excel spreadsheet. We tried to make these questions much simpler. It won't let you submit it because we're requiring that. Got it. Okay, Manuel, this is great. So I hope that this gives you a sense of what the actual methodological process is. This should be pretty quick. It's going to be a little bit like the next one as well, where we interview the shoppers, in that we're not going to be asking a lot of questions. We'll be asking fewer questions of the shoppers when we do the October study. But this one's great because it's already your internal customers of your farmers. So it's not like you're having to speak to someone you've never met before. And it should be quick enough so it doesn't bother them. I would say doing it throughout the morning or afternoon of your market. I wouldn't wait until the end of the day in case they leave early if your market allows for it. You could do it before the market opens, but we know it's a busy time in the market. So I'd like to turn it back to Julia, who's going to walk us through some of the communications and what documents we have, we'll create for you, and so forth.
Just let me know if you can see the screen again.
It's not yet shown up. Now it has, yes.
Okay, perfect. So I think, Richard, you already did this part of all the things that they have to bring for the count at the market. So now we will move into the communication aspects of this campaign. The objective in this campaign B is to demonstrate how farmers markets serve as platform for inclusion, also empowering marginalized groups, including family farmers, women, youth, and indigenous communities. The timeline here it's similar to the one that we used for the biodiversity campaign. So we will focus on three periods: the pre-phase, the during, and the post-phase of the campaign. In the first phase, it's all about building the curiosity and try to reach more people and spread awareness about the campaign, but also about the important role of farmers. During we want to have the main spotlight. So it's the time to go loud, go local and global. And at the end, we have the last phase that is after the counting. So as soon as the count's done, we move to a part where we reflect about the data that we gathered and the meaning of it. The platforms that we suggest you to use is Facebook, Instagram, if you have some WhatsApp groups with your community, LinkedIn, website, and then any other platform that you use in your country to reach a wider audience. Now I'm going to give you some tips for the three phases. I saw a comment before in the chat about Tierra Viva, I think it was, and he was asked, he or she, I don't know, I'm sorry, was asking about the shared drive. So first of all, what I suggest you to do right now is to explore the a lot of you already knows this tool, we can say, as it was focal for the biodiversity campaign. But for the new phases that we have here, I suggest you to explore the shared drive, which will be the central material regarding this campaign. And you will find all the Canva design, webinar recordings, and key information about Farmer Market Count. Then I suggest you to check the calendar to review all the dates to don't miss and all the action that you will need to take part in. And last, of course, in this phase, you need to spread the word. So please engage with your network, share all the materials that we will give you, and also try to raise awareness more about this topic. Still talking about the pre-phase of the campaign, we suggest you to create an editorial plan for this activity, and at least you need to post 2 posts per week when it's possible. Then you will receive some content from us, and right now, if we want to focus on the communication aspects, we will send you on June 27 a Canva file where you can find all the graphics and layouts that you can use to share your content about this campaign on your own social media. You will have some layouts that are already ready to be posted, and in some of them you can add your logo as well as the World Farmers Market logo, but also you can find you can add your own text if there is something that you want to focus on more. Then the key counting days of this campaign, of course, is July 6th, as is the World Rural Development Day. And inside the deck, the Canva deck, you will find a graphic layout that you can use on your social media. Then something really important is to check the style guide that is already in the shared drive in order to use the same style of FMCOUNT in your social media. And then something else, you can also anticipate to your community what is coming. So share the days that you will do the count at your market, so the people are will be more interested to come at the market, maybe to also see the count in real time. Now we move into the during part of the campaign. So here the things that you can do is to announce as as I mentioned, the day of the counting, but also you can do some social media real time and reels. First of all, you should share all the information regarding the campaign and this phase, so the counting farmers. And then you should engage local press or radio just to let them know about the event, and if you are planning something more at your market to increase visibility. So if you want to arrange something special, you can notify the local press and the radio, and they can cover your story. For example, in Italy, a lot of market did the biodiversity exhibition while counting the biodiversity. So maybe you can find some other event or activities to do together with the counting for farmers. On social media, the things that you can do is to go live. So you can do the streaming of the counting or of the day at the market. Then you can post the stories during the counting and show to the people what is really going on. Maybe you can ask some questions and you can engage with polls on Instagram. For example, something nice would be to do the interview of the farmers on social media or on reels or the stories, but just to have a better engagement through social media. And then at the end, you can do some reels or carousel or general post to reflect about the day, or just to say, we've just counted and hear what you missed if you were not here with us physically. So again, we want to engage as much as possible the communities online. So what we suggest is to use the hashtag FMCOUNT, and you will find all of the hashtag in the slide guide. So don't worry, you have all the guides, and we are trying to give you a lot of instructions and files to read. But just because we really want you to include all the tools and put in action all the things that you can do to maximize the visibility. Then you can highlight farmers, women, young people, and indigenous communities that are the faces that makes your market special. So it will be nice to give them a spotlight into your social account. And then you can do some poll on Instagram, as I mentioned before, and here you can find some question ideas that you can use. I don't think we have much time to read all the questions, but you will have the slide deck later on, so you can just reread all these slides to highlight maybe some questions that you like the most. Now we need to talk about the post phase of the campaign. So in this phase, you have to share the highlights of what emerged during the counting, but also you can use all these insights to benefit yourself from the counting. You are going to show to the community, to your community, and maybe also other communities that are not close to you but still follows you and read you, the real numbers of the market, and to introduce how many farmers do you have, and also the social aspects that drives your market. The message here that we want to spread is farmers market that can empower family farmers, women, young people, and indigenous communities, as we mentioned before. At this point, it will be nice to engage media and stakeholders to show them your personal insight. So not the one that we will produce at the end of this campaign that will be more global, but something that concerns just your market to show how powerful it is. And of course, you will also have a press release layout that you can fill out with your personal data and share that with key people in country. And of course, it will be nice to have a final post to thank your community, but also the farmers and the faces that were involved in this campaign all along. Now, here are all the materials that we will give you. So of course, you will receive the webinar slides, then the general farmer market count instruction. You already have this one in the shared drive, but you will also have the shared drive instructions. Something that I want to mention that pretty much everyone knows, but we have new people here, is that this webinar was open to everyone, all the people that follow us and everything, but this material listed here will be available just for people that registered and signed up for the Farmer Market Count campaign. So if you want to receive all this material, the Canva docs and everything to participate in the campaign, you need to sign up, and that you will receive all the material and information. Then we will give you the rural development pole instruction and all the files that Richard explained before. You will receive the graphic templates, which was the Canva document that I was talking about, the press kit that you can use to spread awareness and to contact local press, farmer market count style guidelines that it's already available on the drive. The overview of the counting dates and location. This is something that we did a bit last minute in the other campaign, but actually we thought that was like a powerful tool also to make you connect and exchange opinion about the counting. So you will find this one as well in the shared drive. You just need to add, if you want, the name of your market, where is your market, so the country, and then the days that you will do the counting. And of course, you will have the press release template for you to fill out with your personal information. Now we move into the plan, the communication calendar for this part of the campaign. So June 27, just at the end of this week, you will receive the materials that we just saw. Then the June 30, we will have the release of campaign B on all platforms. So if you want to share that one as well, you're welcome. If you just want to repost the post that we will release, that's fine too. Then July the 2nd, we will have an office hour. So we will not do a webinar like this one, but we will do an office hour where you can just log in if you have some information or questions that you want to ask us, and we will be there to answer all of your inquiries or questions, or just like, I don't know, if you want to ask us something about the campaign, we are there. So, and of course, we will send you the link later on this week, but keep in mind this date. Then July the 3rd till July the 10th, we will have the campaign be online live in the market. So you can just choose the day of the count and then do it. July 6th is World Rural Development Day, and we intend to post the official graphic that we will give you. And then July the 18th, we have the deadline for submitting the results. I'm here, like right now, I want to ask you kindly to please respect this deadline, because like right now we are still waiting for some results from the biodiversity count, and if like you don't respect the deadline, so we cannot make the report on time and everything. So please do the data upload by July 18th. If you do so at the beginning of August, we can give you some key results. And then in September, we will have a short report ready for you to use and to circulate online. So now, what's next? For the new people here, please sign up to the application form. You can find it online on our website, and I don't know if maybe Manu can upload it in the chat so everyone can just sign up there. Then communicate the date you will count at your market. It was the file that I was mentioning before. Just go around to the shared drive to see everything that is already there. But please wait for the new content that we will upload, and we will notify and plan your communication and invite key people or partners or organization to join you the day of the meeting at the market. Here we have a timeline that I think you saw this one before, but it's always nice to have it on mind again. So right now we are here between June and July, but the most important activities about this campaign will happen in July. So just in a few, and be ready when the big days comes for the count. Now we are done here with the slide deck.
Thank you, Julia. This is great. Thank you for walking us through what it was a quick turnaround time. By the end of the week, we'll have all of the information for you. I see some more questions that came through. I think most of them were answered. And thank you, Julia, also for highlighting the importance of you sharing your data online with us so that we can tabulate the reports. We were very excited by the biodiversity impacts that we saw from your studies. We can't wait to produce that report, the interim report, but we do have to wait because we want more of you to input the data so that we have a full picture. It is also worth noting that we know that many of you conduct your own data on a regular basis, which is so important. It's such good news because it is really important that we have a culture of evaluation inside of our own markets. So we know that some of this is data like, well, we already know this information. What we're excited here is that you will be placing this information into a formula where we can begin to give a global picture of the state of farmers markets, in this instance, phase B, on the impact of the farmers market on a farmer's livelihood, the investment they make in the market and the investment we make in the farmers. And we are very excited to share this data, even though it'll be interim by the time October rolls around, before the next phase of the campaign, at our General Assembly at FAO during World Food Forum. This means the audience that we will reach will be just those policymakers, decision makers who often belittle or underappreciate the importance of our farmers markets to have impact. I see some more posts that were made in terms of where to find the links. Grab those before the webinar ends so that you've got the links if you don't have them already. We're at the almost approaching the end of the hour. If there are any questions, I see Julia, you may have a remark you'd like to make, or maybe respond to a question that you see in the chat.
Something that I did not include that one in the slides, but while I was doing the slides, I said, okay, I'm going to just say that one, that I appreciate a lot all the content that you posted all during the biodiversity count and everything. And we as World Farmers Market Coalition, we accepted all the invitation that you did in collaboration. From this campaign on, I must say, I will accept all your collaboration posts, but they need to follow the farmer market count guideline. So you need to use the correct font, the graphics and everything. So this time we will be more careful on the things that we accept on our feed. So of course, feel free to create your own content, to tag us, to invite us as collaborators and everything, but we will do a sort of selection on the things or content that will be on our feed too. So just to I don't know, push you more to follow the farmer market count style guideline in terms of font, colors and things.
Brand discipline. We believe in brand discipline.
Yes.
And this reinforces the fact that we are all individual market organizations, but together we can make a strong statement that we know this amount of information about our own work. So this helps to build the field. And the more unified it is, the stronger the message is. So yes, and if you have any questions regarding the font, the colors, the branding for this, I know that the team in Rome will be happy to help you. We are approaching the end of the hour. I see that the questions have slowed down, presumably because Julia, Manuel, and I have been able to give you the information you need in a clear format. If that is the case, we hope that we were clear. We know that our interpreters were very clear because we know how hard they work. Beekeepers, do we include them in the list of farmers? I love how beekeepers and bees continue to push our boundaries. This is an important late entry question regarding biodiversity. So do we consider beekeepers farmers? I think the short answer to that is yes. In our instance here, if they are beekeepers, they're not creating a product because of course the bees are creating it, but you are corralling the bees to produce that product. So by all means, yes, beekeepers should be deemed the producers of a raw product that is then processed and brought to the market. So I'm sorry that we didn't respond to that earlier. Yes, beekeepers do count and interview them. Great question. Great question. And we know how important honey is in all of our markets. So thank you for raising that question if it did not seem clear on the outset. Well, we're at the top of the hour. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for participating in this. We know that this is a busy time of the year for many of your markets. We know that most times are busy times of the year. Making that extra effort to capture information really does help to build our field. And we are excited that this may prove to be a very useful communication tool for all of us, and in particular for our field farmers markets. Therefore, we will set you free and bring this meeting to a close. And we look forward to seeing you at the office hours should you have any additional questions. And we pledge to have all those documents we've shown to you available by the end of this week. And if any questions arise, either join our office hour or contact us directly at the emails that we give to you. So Team Rome at the International Secretariat, thank you for organizing this meeting. Thank you to our interpreters, and thank you to all of you. We hope to see many of you tomorrow at our digital General Assembly, and we'll have more information about the General Assembly in October, which we believe will be a very strategic opportunity to share our interim findings for farmers markets count, because we know that farmers markets count. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.